Where were we last Wednesday? Oh, sequence detector. Okay, yeah. Have you read through the notes? Oh, let me check your proposal. I thought there are people don't have group yet. I don't see any in the spreadsheet. Amen. Where's the presentation? Can you see the PowerPoint? Guys, can you see the PowerPoint?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay, last Wednesday we discussed about sequence detector. I'm having recap. Okay, last Wednesday the sequence to be detected was quite easy, but let's see a more complicated sequence. For example, here, suppose we are going to detect two different sequence at the same time. Here we have to detect 010 or 101. 010 input is marked with blue color, the underlying color, while the 101 is marked with green color. So whenever these two input sequence are detected and output Z is asserted high, for sequence 010, if you look on the third attempt to detect the sequence, this one quite easy. The problem, what if we have input signal overlap is allowed? This is shown when we want to detect input signal 101. Okay, on the third input sequence, you can see input 1 is overlapping from the previous input. 101 is shared from previous 101 and the current 101, which is the attempt to detect the sequence. Okay. If this is allowed, then you can see from the example, you have this the second 101 output. This is the the third 101 output. But if signal overlap is not allowed, as you can see in the example below, overlap is not allowed. The output of 101, here we only have 2 of input sequence 101. For 010, in the first example, you can see there are 3 possible detection. There are 3 blue lines of input 010. But if signal overlap is not allowed, you see the middle input sequence, which is 010, is not counted here. Okay, and for the green inputs 101, it is not counted here. because we already count 0, 1, 0 here, so we cannot count this part of 0, 1, 0, which is 1, 0, to become 1, 0, 1. Okay, so that's the meaning of input signal overlap, or yeah, input signal overlap is allowed or input signal overlap is not allowed. It's a big difference. Let's see. If overlap is allowed, how to build the state diagram? The rules that I gave in the initial notes, we should build the Moore model first, and we should build the main sequence first. And as you can see, S0 to S1, S1 to S2, S2 to S3 are the input sequence of 0, 1, 0. While S0, S4, S4, S5, S5 to S6 is the main sequence of input 101. Then we try to find out the repetition, which is at S3 and S6. Where should they be repeated? Now let's focus the top first. 0, 1, 0. If we look at the first example, 0, 1, 0, if we get 0, what's going to happen? If we detect 1 here, what should happen? So we have to analyze them. Okay, so from the example from previous slide, after we detect 0, 1, 0 at the main sequence in S3, if it is 0 input, means that we already passed S0. So we should start at S1. That's why S3 restart at S1. But if it is 1, we can see that from S1, S2, S3 is 1, 0. So if we get 1, we are detecting input sequence 101. So that's why this arrow go to S6. Okay, at S6, the output is high. At S3, the output is also high. Now, how about S6? We detect 1, 0, 1, S6 go to high. If the input is 1, we should start at S4. We don't need to go back to S0. But if we detect 0, then the previous input from S4, S5, S6, 0, 1, and if it is 0, it become the first sequence, which is 0, 1, 0. So that's why here, the arrow from S6, if the input is 0, we go to S3. Okay. You can go back and forth looking at the top example here. The second sequence, 101, when another 1 is detected, what's going to happen? If, where is the arrow? Okay. 101, if we detect 0 only, what is going to happen? If we detect another 1, what's going to happen? Okay. Normally in exam, we will give you enough sequence for you to decide how the detection should happen. Okay. So you have to understand from this example. So the last step is to complete all the states arc. They should be in pair. S0 already in pair, no problem. S1 and S2 is not complete pair yet. S4 and S5 also not complete pair yet. That's how the completion pair should looks like. So from this example, they share state S0. That one thing. Second is because it's overlap allowed, you save the reinitialization process at S3 and S6. So that's why it's very crowded, and you save number of states being used. So now we are using only 7 to the power of n should be greater or equal to 7. So n equal to 3. So you need to use 3 flip-flop. So that's why your state table have 3 flip-flops, Q0, Q1, and Q2. So as usual, complete the present state, all the states, and mark the unused state. This one, in this example, we are using binary encoding. So you might get the next state not optimum lah, but it works. No, sometimes in exam we give you the state. Sometimes we don't. So it depends lah. All right. Now we have only one input, which is here labeled as X. I told you I don't like to use X because you will confuse with this X don't care. All right. And then based on the state diagram, the present state and input, we complete the next state. You fill one by one, and then you complete the output. Here, the output should be in 2 places, okay? At state 011 and state 110. So after that, you have to build your K-map as usual. Find the minimize equation, then build the circuit. Here I don't show you, you have to do it on your own. Once you complete the circuit, you can use Altera quarters to simulate and test this state diagram with the provided example of input sequences. Okay. if you want to see more example, I suggest you find previous year's exam equation. I think there were a few times being asked in the final or in the test. All right. Let's see the summary first. To when we want to build a finite state machine, there are two types of model well known or always being used, which are Moore model and Milli model. But you must know the formula is also to the power of n. The more arcs you have, the more complicated the circuit, because more arcs mean more data flow, so more complicated. You don't necessarily need to use K-map if you allow to use multiplexer and decoder. It saves a lot of time, and if there is any error, it's easier to modify the circuit compared if you build K-map, find the minimized equation, build the SOP or POS. In sequence detection, use the guideline in slide 14. I'm not sure, I don't remember whether this guideline is available in the book or not. Can someone check the book? What? I think the chapter is the same. Try find out now. I don't have the book. If I'm not mistaken, I wrote the guideline on my own. Anybody check the book?
Tak ada buku, sir.
Apa? Ada tak? Ada jumpa dalam buku? Tak ada? Senyap je semua? Ngantuk lagi? Yang mana? So the last conclusion I can make is you need more practice to construct the state diagrams. You cannot expect from the given example you know how to draw the state diagram, you know how to construct any state diagram in any problem. It takes practice. So my suggestion, if you cannot find partial test or final exam, find in the internet. Okay. I believe next week notes we have more complicated finite state machine. So this is the, what is this? Okay, now I see. I think this is from the previous note. I forgot to delete. This is this one is this. Oh, the previous week notes. Okay. Any question? I extend the due date of the submission of your project proposal until tomorrow noon. Okay, make sure you submit. Don't expect it to be perfect. Once you submit, I will check one by one. Then I will ask you in the group. You have to quickly respond. Once I say whatever I suggest of improvement, once there is no more comment, you have to submit the correction or rectification by next week. Okay, that's why it's very important you submit by tomorrow noon. All right, any other problems? The slides is a few, only 26 or 27. But if I conduct this chapter in the class, it takes a lot of time because I have to show you clearly how to construct the state diagram, and then from the state diagram, how to construct the state table. But since we are doing it online, no choice lah. Some of your friends still have problem with internet connection, so there is not much I can help. Some of you abuse PKP or MCO. You are not only abusing MCO, you are abusing mid-semester break. Okay, a lot of you, not only this class, most, I can say 90% of UTM students during midterm break, they abuse the break and go home. Whereas when I study in university, during mid-semester break, I stay at university to catch up what I left. Some of the subjects have many homework or assignment to be done. So if you go home, no point. You are wasting your parents' money, whereas those semester break doesn't mean holiday for you. It's the time to catch up. So padan muka. Some of you have internet problem at your hometown. For me, that's not your parents' mistake. It's your mistake. We never tell you during PKP you should go home. No, the semester is still in progress. So if there is no other question, we can end the meeting today. I'd like to remind you, make sure you record your attendance in the e-learning. I let it open until 10:30. Okay, some of you already bought the hardware, but you left in the university. That is also not my concern. Like I said before, you shouldn't go back home. That's your misjudgment. Learn through it. Don't make mistake when you work. So there are 12 groups. I may reassign the group numbering after adjusting, because I saw two groups are empty. Yo, my computer is slow. Oh, I should put one more column. Okay, in your group members, I insert a column UTM. If you are not in UTM, please write down no. If you are in UTM, please write yes. Okay. I was informed it is confirmed because the MCO is extended for another 2 weeks. It is confirmed your final exam will be conducted online, which means your test 2 will also be conducted online. This is an opportunity for you to exercise independence, because you are required to sign some sort of no cheating. Okay, it's because of technology. Of course, you can copy paste, share your solution with your friends, but it is on you. If you try to cheat, you are the one who cheat yourself, not cheating the lecturers. We just mark. If you lie to us, it's on you, not us. Okay, so let's see how we are focusing on making the final exam question now. So definitely your test 2 is not next week lah. Okay. All Right, what else? So I also don't know whether, I think some of you have problem with internet and notebook. Maybe some of you cannot take the final exam, and because of that you have no choice. You have to drop the class, or you have to suspend your study for the whole semester, because we are giving you a limited time. Even though you can do at home or use a slow computer, it still takes a lot of time to complete the final exam. So think about it. You have until end of this month to drop or delete the subject. Let me write the message for others who cannot participate. Okay, I think that's all. 9:41 is still early. Never mind lah, I will leave this channel open until 10. If you have anything to ask, just speak. Okay. Anybody who want to leave is okay. Make sure you record your attendance.
Sir,
Yeah.
can we know about our result of test one?
Not yet. I'm spending time to make the final exam question. Quite a headache, because we cannot see our friends face to face. So that's our priority. We have to make submission by 30 April. Maybe after that only I can finish the test one marking.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir.
But it has no bearing in your decision whether to continue or delete the subject. You should be concerned with your computer and internet speed. That's more important. We are learning, okay, this semester. We are still learning how to do the tests and exam online. Some lecturer, including myself, we are still struggling how to teach you guys online. From what I see, the notes, the PowerPoint, there are a lot of modification or changes to be made. Especially like me, my computer is slow. This computer I use is not even supposed to be used for teaching. It is for research, and it is already too old, 6 years already. I managed to upgrade. I upgrade the notebook of a little bit. I don't have much budget. I add RAM. I think I add 6 gigabyte RAM. So now it is 10 gigabyte. So I'm quite comfortable. But when we do online streaming, it use more processing power. Okay. I was quite lucky because this model quite good. So when I upgrade the RAM, is enough to make it comfortable to use the latest software. So I already reformat the hard disk. But now the problem, because of the MCO, a few weeks ago we did discussion online using Zoom, not only in this class but faculty or school meeting. As a result, now my computer is loaded with a lot of worms, so I have to reformat. So that's another problem. I'm thinking to upload all my notes until week 14 in the e-learning, complete my final exam questions. Only then I can reformat my notebook. So far using Google Meet, quite okay lah, quite stable. Any other question? Quite lucky lah. Early the semester, before the semester start, I argue with my friends, why bother to have 3 tests and then pick best of 2? Why should I burden myself to make more question, make more markings, and it doesn't have any benefit to us, the lecturer? Because now the KPI system, how we are being evaluated, is based on how much we put effort in preparing the question, the final exam. So the extra test we do is not counted for anything. So why waste a lot of effort for so little improvement in your performance. So, Alhamdulillah, finally the other 7 lecturer agreed. Quite at first they want to follow as the previous year. Quite lucky lah. If we still follow last year and last 2-3 years, wow, I cannot imagine what happened now because we have to do the test 2 and 3 online. So after this we only have to do test 2 online. To make the question is already a burden. To mark your answer is more troublesome now because everything is online. But it's okay lah, everybody is learning. We are adapting. This is what they call new normal all over the world, not only in Malaysia. If you feel our notes is not good enough, please access the notes from other well-known university. They may provide online courses. Don't look at MIT lah. You can understand. The way they teach is different. It's not that they are so good. No, the culture of learning there is different. You can try to look in the university I studied in US because the university is top 50 in US. You can try to look into Berkeley University. Harvard also advertising their online, but I don't really suggest that university. They are very commercial oriented instead of knowledge oriented. What else? Cornell University is quite close to my university, about 2-hour drive. That university, Cornell University, is the university who invent the computer program to play chess and became the world champion in 1990s. And after those PhD students graduated, they joined IBM. IBM make further improvement from 1 million calculation. When they go to IBM, the program run on IBM supercomputer, it makes 1 billion calculation per second. And as a result, if I'm not mistaken, 1997, that program managed to beat world chess champion. That's the revolution. Means that Cornell University has a very strong computer science study there, including electrical engineering. Now the smartest AI is from Google, the AlphaGo. Yeah, the AlphaGo. Now, not only it can beat world chess champion, AlphaGo can beat world Go champion. For Chinese, you might know the game Go, Go. For Malay students, I think you don't know what is a Go game. If you look at classical movie, Chinese movie, I mean, sometimes you can see their general or ministry are playing black and white game. That is Go. It is more complicated than chess. Not just more, 1,000 more complicated than chess. And AlphaGo managed to beat European Go champion, World Go champion, both. All right, so it's very, very powerful. And it was not developed by one engineer or scientist. If I'm not mistaken, if the Deep Blue, the IBM supercomputer, was developed by 5 engineers. Initially at Cornell University, there were only 3 engineers involved. In IBM, 5 people involved. For AlphaGo, if I'm not mistaken, 20 engineers involved. See, nowadays, if you want to have a very good product, you cannot work alone. You must know and learn how to collaborate. Like myself, I have difficulty to do research because even though I develop processor specialized in PLC, I waste a lot of time building my own compiler. It's supposed to be computer science problem, not electrical engineering. But since I cannot find any partner from computer science, so I have to do it on my own with little resources I have. Before I made my or study my PhD, I done a lot of industry projects. So I have quite a lot of resources, either money and manpower. Now after PhD, I have to start all over again. No choice. So it's more challenging because in university, it's just academic. Okay, people don't really appreciate what we do. Only when you do collaboration work with industry, solving their problems, you will realize some of the problems can be solved using the basic knowledge. Even knowledge in first and second year is enough, but they are multidiscipline. Okay, that's why I emphasize for all of you to do the basic in right procedure, the right way. We are not only interested on the result. We want to make sure you use the correct way so that when you work in industry, you don't get confused because the problem is bigger. Okay, like the biggest, not the biggest lah, one of the biggest project I did for Perbadanan Putrajaya, it involves many technology, power electrical, electronics, communication, computer science, even the structure of the building I have to take care. So I have to build my own controller. I use my own PLC. I have to build the host PC. I need to redo the server. So just imagine there are so many different type of programming I have to do. So I cannot do it alone. I have to trust other people to do one big project. Okay. So I don't know what will happen to you because most of you here are power, but there are only 5 or 6 students who are electronics. You are quite lucky. Why? Because the biggest employers who hire fresh graduate is still Intel. It's still Intel. While for power mechatronics, the employers are scattered. One company might hire 1 or 2 fresh graduate. Even TNB don't hire people anymore. I don't know. Last time oil and gas. Now you see the price of oil is negative in US. So I don't know where are you going to work. So for electronics student, you are still lucky because if you qualify to work in Intel, especially if you have master and PhD, not only they paid you very high, you can work at home. Looking at this condition lah, MCO or PKP. This is not only Malaysia, okay? UK also have problem. US have problem. They have to work from home. If, for example, you are running machine production, how are you going to work at home? Not possible. Right? And some company in US, in UK, they already have to lay off the workers because they don't have money. Even though their government give loans, if there is no income to the company, in the end you have to let go the workers, no choice. I suspect after end of the year, the multinational will getting more desperate to adapt FPGA technology. I told you before, company like Tesla, Mercedes, BMW, they have started to use. In fact, Tesla is building their own graphic processor. For example, they have LiDAR to detect the road, to detect there is any car in the front, at the side. Those are image processing. You cannot process efficiently using Pentium. So nobody imagined this before. Last time, the only electronics they appreciate is you, electronic central unit. Now it's more than that. In BMW car, they have, last time I checked 5-6 years ago, they have 17 CPU in the car. In future, maybe if they want to cut costs or upgrade the system, they have to use the FPGA. Right? That's your opportunity. Whatever problem you see today is your opportunity. So that's why you must have the right knowledge and skill. People will desperately looking for works. But for you guys, especially those who expert in FPGA, works are waiting for you. And next semester, hopefully you may take the compulsory class, the microprocessor and EMT, if I'm not mistaken, number one hated subject in the world. So especially the microprocessor, very, very important. Any other question? Now it's 10 a.m. already. I try to suggest to have the test or final exam use the Altera Quarters too, because for me you are on your own. If I give you as a normal question, I don't know, are you going to use Quarters 2 to check your answer? Even though you are required to sign the honesty form, anybody can still cheat, even though you are cheating yourself actually. But for me, the condition is already changed. So the best, some of the final exam should be done using quarters 2. Because even if you want to work for Intel, especially PDC and Altera department, they are looking at FPGA. They are using Altera Quarters 2. Now they rebrand as Intel Quarters 2 lah. So, and like I said, in future, Intel engineers have to work at home. They use Quarters 2 at home. So, I don't know. Everybody still trying to find the best solution or way to do the teaching and examination. Okay, if there is no question, I ended the meeting today. Right, thank you for attending the class. Okay, Assalamualaikum, good morning.